Hello everyone, my name is Sahil and welcome to the class. Now, in the today's session, we are going to discuss a very important development under the purview of Ethics GS paper number 4. So today, we will be taking up the theme of ecology versus development. Now, first of all, let's understand that why this particular topic has become recently important, and then we will be connecting it with the Ethics GS paper number 4 as how it will be important. And towards the end, we will also be seeing a model case study that could be asked onto this particular line, inspired from the recent events that has been asked, that has happened, that we are going to discuss here. Guys, into the past, we have seen that from last 3 years, there are large number of case studies which are being asked from the contemporary events. For example, in 2020, the case study from the migrant crisis was asked. The case study from the building collapse has been asked. So into this particular line, understanding the theme becomes very important. Now, let's first of all understand that what are the issues into the current affairs that had happened onto this particular line. So first is the Silver Line project. Now you have heard about the Silver Line project. It was there into the news. Now what is first of all this Silver Line project? So the Silver Line project, it is a high speed proposed railway project that has been there. So it is a semi high speed railway project that has been there. Now this particular project aims to connect the northernmost part of the Kerala, that is the Kasargod, to the southernmost part of the Kerala, that is the Thiruvananthapuram. Now basically this particular railway line or this railway corridor wants to ease the traffic and wants to provide the ease of connectivity. A better mobility is being envisaged. Now, first of all, let's understand that why this particular project's need is there. So guys, first of all, if we talk about the Kerala, around 92% population of the Kerala is urbanized. There is no big difference between the rural areas, urban areas. Now, when the economy becomes more and more urbanized, fine, the mobility becomes an important part, because people, they are involved not basically into the rural activities, but large number of people are involved in service sector, in manufacturing sector, and the commute mobility is a very important aspect. Now when we see the topography of the Kerala has been the land of backwaters, rivers has been there. Actually the highways which are there, the roadways which are there, they have become too much stretched, okay, and the existing railway line that has been there, it is plagued with too much of the bends that are there. Moreover, already when we talk about the Kerala, the railway track usage into the Kerala has been around 115%. So it means that actually the existing railway tracks of the Kerala are being overused 115%. Clear? The maximum capacity should be 100%, but it is overreaching that. So using the present tracks is not possible, number one. Number two, when we talk about the recent roads and the highways, it has become overstressed, and because of that particular reason, every year in the Kerala, there are more than 40,000 road accidents are there, and more than 4,000 fatalities are happening, which is way above the national average. So the roadways, they are overstretched. Moreover, as you know that the Kerala, there are large number of wetlands, rivers, streams, backwaters that are there, and road construction also, it is not a very feasible kind of a strategy. So therefore, in order to deal with all these particular problems, a semi high speed railway project, it becomes a kind of a very good kind of an option which government is proposing. Now, as this particular thing is going on, the project has run into a lot of controversy. What are the controversies around this particular project? Now, the first controversy or the first contention around this particular project, it is because of the fact that it has been provided that, number one, there will be a lot of economic burden of this particular project. It is envisaged that around 64,000 crore rupees of the debt will be taken for this particular project. Now, when we talk about the Kerala is already running into high fiscal deficits over the past few years, and because of the pandemic that has happened, you might have known that into the first wave and the second wave of the pandemic, the Kerala registered a high number of cases, and because of the revenue that is being devoted onto the health, fiscal deficit has even increased. Is it clear? And in that way, taking a 64,000 crore rupees of debt might be increasing the debt to state GDP ratio even more worse. And when that debt to SGDP, state GDP ratio will become worse, what will happen? The debt will become even more expensive. And in that particular capacity, there will be the economic crisis that will be coming after few years. This is one controversy, that is the fiscal aspect. Now the opposition has said that it is a kind of a astronomical scam into the making. There has been said that there are large number of irregularities are also there. Fine. So that has also been the aspect. Fine. Then the second problem that is there, it is the environmental concern. Now this particular project that is there, more than 530 kilometers project. Okay, a particular part of this particular project will be passing through the wildlife sanctuaries. It will be passing through the wetlands. It will be passing through the dense forest. You might be knowing that when we talk about the Kerala, fine, a substantial portion of the Western Ghats lies into the Kerala, and Madhav Gadgil committee had actually raised the red flag against such level of construction that is there. And when we talk the present protest that has been there, Madhav Gadgil, a notable environmentalist who was instrumental in giving the Gadgil report for the conservation of Western Ghats, he had specifically flagged that it will be an environmental disaster. It will be impacting the wildlife. It will be impacting the rich diversity of plants. Moreover, onto the fragile ecosystem, the cost will be irreparable. Even the people such as the E. Sridharan, E. Sridharan is called as the metro man, who was instrumental in making the Delhi metro, okay, and has worked and has a rich experience into the railways. He also says that the topography, the fragile ecosystem and the fragile topography of the Kerala is not at all congenial to support such a project. So this is the problem that has been there. Then further moving on. Then the third problem that comes, see, the Kerala, it had east to west flowing drainage system. Now, as this particular project will be built, there will be large number of embankments that will be made. And as these embankments will be made to support this particular project, what will happen? These embankments, it will disturb the drainage system. And in the future, large number of flooding events can happen into the Kerala because of the embankments and because of the disturbance of the drainage pattern. Is it clear? If guys you remember, into the past, Kerala had repeatedly seen very disastrous floods, and the nature had already given a warning that the state is prone to flooding, and if such project is taken, then further the fear of flooding will be exacerbated. And because of all these particular things, it has been said that this project is nothing but a disaster for the state of Kerala. But at the same time, because it can now positives, number one, it can ease the transport, and the transport is very much important for two reasons. Number one, 92% of the population of the Kerala is urbanized, and the mobility becomes very much important here, because people have to commute for their work, they have to commute for their education, they have to commute for many other purposes. Is it clear? Secondly, when we talk about the Kerala, the tourism is a mainstay for the Kerala, And when we talk about the tourism, the tourist, they prefer to have the swift and convenient transportation system. Today's the ease of transportation that is not there, it is deterring the large number of tourists. Okay, repeated visits have not been happened into the Kerala. They are actually very much less than what potential could have been there, less than the potential, and into that the transportation can ease. Is it clear or not? Secondly, it has been said that being a 64,000 crore rupees project, it will have a huge multiplier effect. It will have a huge multiplier effect. Now, what is this multiplier effect? See, right now, we are into the mid of a pandemic. And into this particular pandemic, there is a problem that the economic stagnation has come. Is it clear? Just guys, a couple of days back, the budget, just few days back, actually the budget came. In the budget, the growth which has been expected, it has further reduced by the Reserve Bank of India. Is it clear or not? So therefore, now pumping 64,000 crore rupees will create employment. When this particular money will go into the economy of the Kerala, what will happen? It will raise the aggregate demand when the money will be pumped into the system, and at the end of the day it will be bringing a large number of economic benefits. So this is the second that it has been provided. Fine. Then thirdly, see, when we see Kerala's compound annual growth rate in terms of new vehicles that are being purchased, when we talk about the mobility, the pace of mobility that has increased into the Kerala, in Kerala there is a highest compound annual growth rate in terms of new vehicles that are being purchased, and it is putting a large stress onto the already strained highways. Okay, I told you that every year more than 4,000 fatalities are there, which are much more high than the national average. So basically the transportation is not at all sustainable. It is not at all sustainable. Moreover, apart from being sustainable, fine, when the road transport is increasing because the efficient railways are not there, it is also increasing the pollution. Okay, India had already promised into the COP26 that we will achieve the carbon neutrality by 2070. So the environmental goals are also very much important, and the pollution problem is posing a lot of pressure. So this is something which is being proposed. Moreover, the government had said this particular thing, that there is no other possibility apart from this particular project. Is it clear? Expanding the railways is not possible. Okay, stretching the roadways will also not be the possible. So this is the only solution which they have. So this is the entire analysis of this particular aspect. So guys, what we see here, we are seeing here that ecology and the development, they are at loggerheads with each other. Now understand one thing very importantly. See, as for example, the Silver Line project we have discussed, you need to keep it in mind that so many of the articles came on this particular project, even into the Hindu newspaper. But you do not need to go too much into the detail, because at the end of the day, it is just a project in one of the state. Is it clear? And reading about every project and all such kind of thing is not possible. So just you need to have the precursory idea over this kind of thing. And apart from this, please don't go, I will not be suggesting. Now, moving on to the second controversy that was there. Now, the second controversy was with respect to the opening of the Sterilite copper plant. Now, what is this? First of all, the controversy, I will tell you about this. Now, guys, the Sterilite copper plant is in the Tamil Nadu. Now, this particular copper plant, into the past, the people, they have said that this plant had led to a lot of pollution into the nearby region. Secondly, because of the irresponsible dumping of the liquid waste, the nearby water bodies have also become polluted. Even the animals don't drink the water. So there is an environmental pollution that has been created. The quality of the water had actually went bad. And then the third problem that has been there is that because of the Sterilite copper plant, there much of the employment which was promised, it has not come. because the plant had not preferred the local people. They had not preferred the local people. So much of the employment benefit has also not come to the native people. Now, this particular protest was there. What happened actually in 2018? In 2018, fine, more than 20,000 people, as they were leading to the protest, the police, they opened the fire on these people. Now, the right to protest is a fundamental right, and even into the face of a democratically organized protest, firing is not a kind of a thing which can be tolerated on any front. It became a kind of a moral issue. It became a kind of a moral issue. Is it clear? It became a kind of a Jallianwala Bagh incident of post-independent India. Such kind of phrases were used because of this firing that was carried by the police. 13 people died also into this particular thing. Now, guys, as this particular event happened, okay, what happened? It was ordered that the Sterilite plant will be closed. So the Sterilite plant got closed. Fine. This Sterilite plant got closed. Now, guys, in 2020, 2021, repeatedly the petitions have been sent to the Madras High Court, then to the Supreme Court, that this Sterilite plant should be reopened. It should be reopened. Now the matter is into the Supreme Court. Now, so therefore, it was into the news. Now, first of all, why this particular plant needs to be reopened? So it has been said that, first of all, the claims that it was leading to the environmental damage, it was leading to the water pollution, it has been said that this claim has been unsubstantiated. Expert committees and panels have have actually carried the surveys with respect to the environment and water pollution, and they have said that the same AQI, same air quality index, same PM 2.5 is there into the air even after the plant has been closed in 2018. So now more than 3 years have happened, but the air quality is the same, the water quality is the same. So actually the pollution was not being created in a substantial way because of this Sterilite plant. Secondly, it has been said that actually the copper, it is a strategic metal. Copper is the strategic metal for any country, including the India. Today, we are looking for electronic mobility. Today, we are aspiring to be an electronic manufacturing hub. Even the government had given the production linked incentive scheme to manufacture the electronics. Now into the electronics industry, there is the copper, it plays a very important role. India earlier used to be the exporter of copper, but now because of the closing of this Sterilite copper plant, India had become a net importer of the copper. Now the copper smelters, they have been called as the strategic units for any country's industrial development. They have been called as the strategic units for the industrial development. And in India, Sterilite copper plant was an important smelter that was there. Now it has been closed. So on the strategic aspect also, India is now becoming more and more dependent. You remember in 2020 what happened? In 2020, we came out with the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, which talks about achieving the self-reliance. But closing down Sterilite plant is defeating the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan of India. Moreover, because India has to import the copper now, much of the valuable forex also India is losing. Already, as into the global market, the crude oil prices, they are at a very high level, highest after 2014. So already India is losing a lot of foreign exchange onto that particular front, and now importing will further put a pressure onto the forex reserves. Though at the present time the forex reserves are in a safe trajectory, we have a very good tranche of the forex reserves, but still conserving the forex reserves, where because India actually depends on a large number of critical inputs. So it makes a sense that the Sterilite plant should be opened up. Now, as I told you that the petitions have been made into the court. So first of all, the Madras High Court in 2020, the Madras High Court has made their ruling, and Madras High Court has actually, I'll say, that they have repeated what Ambedkar had once said onto the economy and environment. Madras High Court had said that this is a case where economy is pitted with environment. Economy is pitted with environment, and whenever such a conflict will be there, always the ecology or the environment will reign supreme. Fine. So they have said that we will not allow or we will not open the Sterilite copper plant, and because of that particular thing, now the matter is in the Supreme Court. See guys, the Ambedkar also had talked about such kind of thing. Ambedkar says that when economic interest and ecological interest, they come in conflict with each other, the forces, they will always be favoring the economic interest. Is it clear or not? But the ecology cannot be ignored. So the same line of thought has been repeated by the Madras High Court also. So because of this particular thing also, the Sterilite copper plant was there into the news, the strategic reasons, the economic reasons, okay, and all these kind of things were there. Now the next development that is there, okay, just few days back, what had happened? It is with respect to the State Environment Assessment Authority. State Environment Impact Assessment Authority actually. State Environment Impact Assessment Authority. Here. Now, what has been there and why it was into the news? So guys, recently the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, what they have done? They have provided that we are now bringing a new system where the each state's State Environment Impact Assessment Authority will be judged. According to them, they had said that now we will be giving the star rating. We will be giving the star rating to the different states, State Environment Impact Assessment Authority. So they have provided this particular thing that there will be a criteria, there will be the 7 parameters, onto which they will be given this rating. And into this particular parameter, what has been the theme? The theme is the speed with which they are granting the environmental clearances. The speed with which they are granting the environmental clearances. If the State Environmental Impact Assessment Authorities give a expeditious approval, if they give approval in very less number of time, they will get the better star rating. If they are not taking the decision in less time, if they are taking too much of time, they will be given the poor star rating. This is the basic crux of this particular deadline, this particular new guideline that has been there. Little bit I will explain you about these environmental impact assessments. See, 2006 Environmental Impact Assessment Notification. 2006 Environmental Impact Assessment Notification. It divides the big projects in two categories, category A and category B. Category A and category B. In total 39 projects, in total 39 type of projects have been mentioned into this Environmental Impact Assessment Notification of 2006, which actually require the clearance from the government. Fine. Now see, sometimes the projects, infrastructure projects, industrial projects, they are having so much of impact onto the environment that they need to be seen for the due diligence. Is it clear? For example, a mining project, if it is being carried into the dense forest, it will create a lot of pollution. It will create water pollution, it will create air pollution, it will disturb the nearby wildlife. So what happens? Every project, every developmental initiative have some impact onto the environment. It has some impact onto the environment. Now, sometimes the impact is such that it could be minimized, it could be mitigated, but sometimes the impact might not be mitigated, might not be minimized. Is it clear? So therefore, before allowing any project, we need to see in what way it will be impacting the nearby environment, in what way it will be posing the burden onto the nearby environment. Is it clear? So for this particular assessment, there is the environmental impact assessment that is done. Fine. 39 types of projects are there for which the EIA is mandatory. Only if they pass the EIA, then those projects will be allowed. If they don't pass the EIA, if much more impact is there, they will not be allowed. Clear? 39 types of projects are there. Now, there are category A projects, category B projects. Category A projects are those where the approval will be given by the center government. However, then there are the category B projects. Category B projects are the one where the approval will be given by the state, and here the state environmental impact assessment authorities role will come. Here the state environmental impact assessment authorities role will come. Now the notification that has been sent by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, they are asking these authorities at the level of state that expedite this environmental clearance. They say that provide these environmental clearances into the less and the less number of time. Is it clear or not? So this is something that they have said. Now guys, into this particular thing, as per the time that has been taken, the star rating will be given: 5 star, 4 star, 3 star, 0 star, 2 star. This is something that is going on. Now, you don't need to go that how many days, how many star they will be getting. Fine. Please don't go unnecessary information with respect to the examination point of view. Clear? Understanding the spirit is more important. Now, as this particular thing has come, there is a lot of protest that has happened against this particular notification. A lot of protest has happened against this notification. Now the organizations, what they are saying? Organizations are saying that what you have done, you have simply shown the disregard against the environmental conservation. It has been said that when you are making them time bound, and the performance vis-a-vis the time is also being judged with respect to the star rating parameter. Star rating parameter is there, and you are giving the star onto the basis of time that they have given. An attitude of carelessness will come. An attitude will come where, without going into the deep scrutiny of a project will just be passed. Project will be passed without going into a deep scrutiny. Even if a project is having an impact onto the environment, it will be passed because the SEIAs, they want to look more favorable. Now, why they want to look favorable? There is a logic for that particular thing. See, today, FDI, foreign direct investment, then there are the other domestic investments that are there. There are big ticket industrial projects that are there. Now, all the investment that is coming, whenever a project is to be started up, they see that which state has better ease of doing business. And in this ease of doing business, giving the environmental clearance is actually a very big component. Now, the state governments, where the state environmental impact assessment authority, the state where the 5 rating is there, the investors tend to prefer those states. Is it clear? As you go on Amazon and before buying a product, what do? You see that how many stars have been given to that product. Only after seeing the star rating, you actually order the project. Into the same way also, the SEIA, the State Environmental Impact Assessment Authorities, in order to get better star rating, they will expedite the projects, and sometimes the impact will not be properly assessed. And what will happen? Environmental degradation. What will happen? The eradication, the degradation of the flora, fauna. Fine. Even into the past, the track records with respect to the environmental impact assessment has not been very much good. Is it clear? So, onto that tarnished track record, this is something which will make things even more messier. So, environmentalists say that it is nothing but a way to destroy the ecology, that way to destroy the environment. Fine. Now, the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, they have justified their viewpoint also. Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, they have justified their viewpoint also. They have said that just we are doing this particular thing to remove the bureaucratic inertia. We are doing this particular thing to remove the bureaucratic inertia. Now, what is this bureaucratic inertia? Supreme Court has said this thing that in India, the officers, okay, the officials, they tend to not to do anything when there is any developmental aspect issue is there. Now, when the clearances are to be given, many of the states, they are just sitting onto the project for many months, for many years. Fine, they say that just we want to remove this bureaucratic inertia, we just want to remove this bureaucratic apathy, and we just want that the decision should be taken. If you have to reject it, reject it. Is it clear? It has been seen into the past few years that not even the field visits have been made onto the project. So when the field visits are not even made, how you can say that the project is worthy or not? So in order to kill this inactivity and to make them more efficient, this particular thing has been done. But environmentalists say that no, it is just a cover that the government is taking, but at the end of the day, just in order to provide the advantage to the industrialists who want to open up their industries, in order to destroy the environment, this is being done. Clear? That is all about it. So friends, up till now, we have discussed actually the three issues. We have discussed the three issues. Okay, the first issue that we discussed was about the Silver Line project. Second project that we discussed was the Sterilite project. Fine. And the third that we discussed is the notification for the State Environment Impact Assessment Authority. Now, one thing, first of all, very categorically, I am saying that whatever the things that we have discussed with respect to your examination, please stick to that. Now, the implication is actually important. Implication is important. So, what is the implication? Implication is such that in all these three developments, you find this thing that there is the ecology which has come in conflict with the development. Ecology has come in conflict with development. Now, this particular conflict is important for our GS paper number 4. Why? Because in GS paper number 4, the topic number 1 talks about the applied ethics. It talks about the applied ethics, and within the applied ethics, there is the environmental ethics that is there. Environmental ethics that is there. Is it clear? Environmental ethics. And in the environmental ethics, the ecology versus developmental debate, environment versus development debate, it is a classic topic. It is a classic topic under the environmental ethics, topic 1, applied ethics part. Clear? One thing. Second thing is that case studies are actually now inspired from the real life events. Find real life controversies, the case studies are inspired from that, and from past 2 years this particular trend has become even more important. So in that particular capacity also, this particular topic becomes important. Is it clear or not? That is something that has been there. Even the Gandhiji said that the world has enough for everybody's need but for not everybody's greed. What Gandhiji was talking about? Gandhiji was talking about the environmental ethics. Is it clear or not? So in this particular aspect, these developments are important. Now, what is now the ethical dimensions that can be taken out from these developments? Ethical dimensions that can be taken out from these particular developments. So first of all, there is the doctrine of double effect that becomes important because of this particular matter, and which we can use in our answers. Doctrine of double effect, how the utility is there and what this doctrine is, let's discuss it. First of all, what is this doctrine of double effect? See, the doctrine of double effect, fine. According to this particular doctrine, it has been provided that sometimes the action will be such where the good and the bad cannot completely be separated. In some action, the good and the bad both will come. Clear? For example, murder is entirely a bad thing. Clear? Charity, helping a poor person, is a good thing. Fine. Now, one is bad, one is good, no problem. Sometimes some actions will be such that good and bad both will be there. So into those particular kind of things, the doctrine of double effect is there, which can be used. Now see, in this particular present case, in all these three cases which were there were both the good and the bad. Silver line project, good was there, that it will ease the congestion, it will make the transportation more good, but bad was there, environment will get destroyed. Second, Sterilite project, strategic need of India will fulfilled, economically it is good, but environmentally bad. Third one, okay, it will be said that, see, good side is this, that it will make the bureaucracy, it will make the officials more efficient, more active. And see, let's say, even if in a proper manner the clearance is being given, it will enhance at the end of the days of doing business, good, but environment might get be ignored, bad. So sometimes the action will be such where both the good and the bad will be there. So how to determine that whether action should be done or not? Fine, good and bad both are there. Ultimately, should you abandon it or should you go forward it? So doctrine of double effect is there, which can guide us, which can guide us. So what is this doctrine of double effect? Now doctrine of double effect provides that sometimes good and bad both will be there. Action can be done, action can be carried, action will be ethically justified if these three conditions are being fulfilled. Now what are these three conditions? Condition number one, it has been provided that the nature of the act needs to be either morally neutral or the nature of act needs to be good. If the nature of act is good or morally neutral, act can be taken, it will be ethically justified. Now if you see this particular project here, the nature of the act is not entirely corrupt. Development by very nature is not wrong. The direction of basically the development, okay, it will decide. So by very nature, the infrastructural creation, etc. is not bad. Okay, or even let's say if it is not good, even it is neutral, we can say that thing. One thing. Second thing, it has been provided that the agent, the person who is doing it, we need to see that what is the intention of the agent, whether agent intends good or bad. If the intention is good, the act can be allowed, but if the intention is bad, then the act is not allowed. Then the third ground that has been provided into the doctrine of double effect, it is whether the good will outweigh the bad, whether the good will outweigh the bad. Just to understand whether the benefit that is coming, will the benefit be more than the cost that will be there? Whether the benefit that is coming, will they be more than the cost? Is it clear? Just to give a different concept, guys, Supreme Court has actually come out with the doctrine of proportionality. In doctrine of, now this doctrine of proportionality is to determine that in which cases the privacy can be compromised. In the doctrine of proportionality also the Supreme Court has given such kind of thing. Anyhow, that is a different thing. So three conditions are there: whether the nature is good, nature of the act is good or not, whether the agent is having a good intention or bad intention, and third, whether the good will be more than the bad. On this particular basis, we can judge any particular act and can come out that whether at the end of the day it should be ethically justified or it should be ethically unjustified. Now, by using it, I will not be giving a verdict that whether all these three projects are justified or not. No, I will not be giving you a verdict. But why? See, there is a reason for that thing. There is a reason for that thing. Actually, these things are the tools that you will use in your case study for your advantage. Are you getting it or not? Please don't have any pre-established templates into the mind that, okay, if this thing comes, I have to reject it or I have to always accept it. No, just see, when you are writing the answers, you need neither be completely critical of the developmental projects carried by the government, because in economy you will support them, and at the same time you need to be completely skeptic. You need not to be completely against, you need not to be completely against, and you need to be not be completely in favor. These are certain things by which we will show the level of ethical crisis that is there, and we will use them to our advantage actually if the case study comes, or if the case study is just asking you the ethical dimension, there we can use it. And not only here, in its own also, this particular thing becomes very much important in your ethics. Is it clear? So there is a doctrine of double effect which can be used into this particular context. Fine, it can be used in this context. After that, moving on. So there is one more principle that is there. Theory of a slippery slope is there. Theory of a slippery slope. Now, what is this a theory of slippery slope? According to this particular theory, it is said that there is a proverbial slope on which a person is, let's say, walking. Now, this particular slope is steep, it is slippery. If here you slip, then it will not be possible that you can regain balance. You will go and you will never be able to balance yourself. You will just be tumbling down. Theory of slippery slope. Now, as per this theory, it is provided that once a morally corrupt or an unethical act has been done, then there is no possibility to come back. Then more and more corrupt acts will happen, more and more bad will happen. A kind of a domino effect will start, that is one leading to another, another leading to yet another. And by that domino effect, at the end of the day, a very big negative, a very big bad will come. Now, this particular, I can take one example. See, today when we talk about the gene editing, when we today talk about the DNA editing, there is a very big kind of a viewpoint that prevails. It is said that the DNA editing, gene editing cannot be allowed for the children because tomorrow this particular thing will be used for designer babies, for making designer babies. Will not allow it. Is it clear? On what particular thing that argument is based on? It is based on the theory of slippery slope. Once you will do something little bit minor kind of thing which is ethically not completely justified, then a series of bad things will happen. Now, the theory of slippery slope into this particular context. So, theory of slippery slope goes into this particular manner. See, once all these particular projects will be shown a kind of a leniency, once the development will be emphasized at the cost of ecology, what will happen? It will start a slippery slope, and always this thing will only be done. It will establish a bad precedence. Every time the development will be then favored, and every time the environment will be compromised. Even the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar had said that when ecology and environment comes at loggerheads, there is a sufficient compelling force that the economy will be favored. Is it clear or not? So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has also said something like this. Is it clear? So theory of slippery slope provides that bad precedents should not be established in just a hurried manner, just for a short-term advantage. This particular thing should not be hushed up. So this is one principle which can be used in such kind of situations. One more thing, please don't be specific that okay, only when ecology and development will come, I will use this principle. No, be open to such concepts. Fine, that wherever the utility is there, you should be able to utilize it. Then the next is the classic one, that is the deontology versus the teleology debate. Now the deontology emphasizes that the way of doing the thing is more important. Teleology emphasizes that no, rather than the way, the end, the result, what is being achieved is more important. Now, what is this way, deontology and teleology? Fine, a classic example you can take of two great people, Mahatma Gandhi ji and Subhash Bose. Now, Gandhi ji, he said that to achieve independence, we will never be using the violence. Subhash Bose, he was open to the revolution. And in that revolution, even if we have to fight, Bose was open to that thing, because for him, the independence was actually something which was the most important thing. This was actually the difference of opinion also between the Bose and the Gandhiji, though the difference of opinion was always very graceful, but the difference of opinion was there. Now if you see Gandhiji saying that ahimsa, satyagraha are the most important twin tools. He says that independence, though it is important, but more important than that is the process, the way. Okay, if we use Gandhiji wrote into the young India that if the independence will come by the violence, then that independence will lose its relevance. So he always emphasized that the way of doing the things is more important. And because the way of doing the things was more important for Gandhiji, Gandhiji was a deontologist. The way, the process is important. Then comes the teleology. Now, I told you that the Bose was always a believer that achieving the independence is important. The ways, according to Bose, never there will be a perfect way. According to Bose, if we will be looking for a perfect way, what will happen? Just a paralysis will come. Activity and action will not be there. Is it clear or not? Even if we talk about the Bhagavad Gita actually is a very beautiful text, because Bhagavad Gita throughout talks about the duty. Which has been a very important theme in deontology. But Bhagavad Gita at the same time also provides that the life is activity, the inaction is death. So Bose was a believer of second type. Bose was a believer that we need to move. And if by revolution, by violence, we can move towards the independence, use that. So Bose was more teleologist. He believed that the end result is important. Clear? Many a times the teleologists are also called by the name of consequentialist. Fine. So that is also something you might have heard. Don't worry. Okay. Similar thing. So this was the difference between the deontology and the teleology, and how the Bose was more of a teleologist and Gandhiji was more of a deontologist. So now putting it into the context. Now guys, what will happen? See, all these projects that are being taken, Silver Line project, Sterilite project, then there was the state environmental impact assessment authorities that were there. In all of these particular things, guys, the deontologist will say that, okay, the way is not good. Why? Because as you are doing, environment is getting impacted. As you are doing it, okay, the people's concerns, okay, they are getting impacted. Teleologist will say that no, forget the way. At the end of the day, growth will come. At the end of the day, transportation will become good. Economic reliance will come. Clear? So this is something. Some people say, the deontologists say that the way is important, to focus on that. Is it clear or not? Fine, economy is good, but what is the way of bringing the economic growth? You are compromising on flora and fauna. Fine, teleologist will say that, okay, sometimes the compromise will happen, but see, growth is coming, na? Employment is getting generated. So this is the deontology and teleology debate that can be there. After that, there is sustainability ethics. Now, what is the sustainability ethics? Sustainability ethics provides that our developmental trajectory needs to be such that it is sustainable in the long term. It is sustainable on the front of environment, negative environment cost or bad environment cost needs not to be there. Sustainability provides that the way in which you are today using the resources, make sure that a better world you will give to your children. So sustainability ethics provides that today our activities should be done with such a way that we are actually making a sustainable future. Today we should consume the resources in such a way that future generations' resources will not be compromised. Secondly, use the environment in such a way that environment will be sustained, the flora, the fauna, they will be sustained, they will not be threatened. Is it clear or not? So environmental sustainability is there, which is the crux of the sustainability ethics. Now, sustainability ethics can be understood by what Gandhiji had said. Now, what Gandhiji says? Gandhiji says, what we are doing to the forest of the world is but a mirror reflection of what we are doing to ourselves and to one another. What we are doing today to the forest, it is a mere reflection that what is actually we are doing to ourselves. So we need to be restrained. Now, what Gandhiji was emphasizing? Gandhiji was emphasizing on sustainability. If you are caring for the forest, you are caring for you. If you are conserving the forest, you are conserving you. If you are at the same time destroying the forest, you are destroying your own future. So sustainability is something which is to be ensured. Always your today's actions should be in line with your future. Should be in line with your future, should be in line with your future generations, should be in with your long-term interest. In that thing, do you think destroying the forest is desirable? No. Do you think destroying the forest is sustainable? No. So there is a sustainability ethics that can always be used. Is it clear or not? So just to paraphrase, what are the ethical theories, ethical viewpoints that can come here? So just first is the doctrine of the double effect. Doctrine of the double effect already we have discussed. Then there is a theory of slippery slope that is there. Then third, the deontology versus the teleology debate is there. Then the sustainability ethics are there. Okay, so all of them you can utilize here. And guys, just if you describe them in two lines and can connect it with the context, I believe that a very good quality answer you can write on such kind of theme that is there, and a very big probability is there because the questions are now a lot inspired by the current affairs. And one misconception I want to remove from your minds, many a times there is a belief that is there that ethics is a static paper. Ethics is a static paper. No, it is not the case. If you are writing those static answers, see, you might have got good marks in 2014, 2015, till 2016 even. But now, what will be the trajectory of your marks? It depends on to the dimensionality that you can show, and in the dimensional